Hey, how's it going? Alex here from IdeaSpot, and in today's tutorial, you're going to learn how to add a WooCommerce shop to your Kadence template. We're also going to be adding a cart and a checkout, and in that shop, we're going to learn how to customize that product page. You can also add products to any page on your Kadence website. Now you can take these skills and apply them to any of these Kadence starter templates. So when new templates come out, you can build shops with basically any of them. So if this sounds interesting, then keep watching. You're obviously going to need the Kadence theme to do this tutorial. You can get it from kadencewp.com under their products and themes. You just need to download that zip file. Just click the free download and say, no thanks, I just want the theme zip. Once you've got that downloaded, go to your dashboard under Appearance and Themes, Add New, and then you're just going to upload that zip file using the WordPress upload feature. Now, as you can see, I already have my Kadence theme installed and active. If you've never set up a website with Kadence before, check out my previous video. I'll put the link in the description. That's a complete tutorial on setting up a basic website with Kadence. But let's get on to the plugins that we're going to use for this tutorial. Now, we're going to be using Starter Templates by Kadence WP. Search for that one, install and activate that one. And also we're going to be using Gutenberg blocks by Kadence blocks. Now this will automatically install when you use a starter template, but you can also set this up before the tutorial anyway. So either way will work. So let's get on to the setup. Now, after you've got your Starter Templates plugin installed, under Appearance, you'll get an option called Starter Templates under Kadence. Now, at the moment, there's 5 starter templates. The only one with WooCommerce automatically set up is the one called Shopping. It's not bad. The only thing I didn't really like is it doesn't have a transparent header set up like these other ones like Agency and Software as a Service. I think these are really cool. And I really thought it would be nice if I could turn these into WooCommerce websites as well. So I'm going to use this Agency one, and I'm actually going to turn this into a WooCommerce website. So let's select that one, choose a color scheme, and let's get going. I think this time I'll go with the second palette there. It looks really clean and bright, and I'm going to click import and let's start importing. It'll import the demo content. That'll take a second, and then when that's done, we click finish, view your site. So by default, it will show the name that we used when we installed WordPress. So I just installed it as IdeaSpot, but your name should pop up there. I'm going to do a few customizations before we get too deep. So let's hit customize. First thing I'm going to do here is change the logo. We can get there by that pencil shortcut and click change logo. I'm going to upload a few files. Let's upload a couple of logos I made earlier and a few stock images that we might use later. So let's wait for those to upload. The logos themselves are nothing special. I just went to logomaker.com and grabbed a logo and changed the color to suit the website. You'll also want a white logo as well for your transparent header if you're using a transparent header. So make a white one and a colored one, but let's get back into it. So I did make this white light bulb logo, so we're going to use that one. Select that one. We can skip cropping and then we can click publish. The other thing we want to do is change the transparent header logo as well, because this is the regular logo. Let's go back and click transparent header, and we want a different logo for the transparent header. So we're going to change that, and we're going to choose that white bulb again. And there we go. We should get the new logo. So let's hit publish. It is important to realize that there are 2 different headers happening in Kadence theme. You've got a transparent header and the regular header. So let's have a look at the regular header. If we click a blog post, I think the blog post uses the regular header. So let's actually change this header a bit. Let's make it look a little bit more similar to what the normal transparent header looks like here. So we've got this blue gradient with white text. I think we'll make this header match up. So let's get started on that. So let's back to our main menu and let's go for header and let's go for design. Now we want our header background. Let's click that one. Now, as I was saying, I'd like it to be a gradient that matches what is on our actual blog page. So I'm going to open that blog page and click customize. Let's find the actual colors that are used exactly here. So under blog post, we've got the archive layout, design, and there's our gradient. So I want to copy that gradient. So let's grab the code for the dark blue, and I'm going to pop that into Notepad so I can use it later. And let's grab the light blue as well. Do the same thing, pop it in Notepad or something. There we go, just keep those handy so we can use those later. Now back on our header settings, let's just change those colors so they match up with the other colors that we use on the blog page. And there we go, that looks pretty good. Now we've got black text. I want to use white text here, so let's change that. For that, we need to back up to header and we go to general and we want primary navigation here and design. So just finding everything in Kadence. It does take a little bit of getting used to, but once you know where everything is, it's all good. I'm going to do a complete tutorial on Kadence headers because there is so much you can do with these headers. I'm going to try and keep it as simple as I can for this tutorial though, because I really want to focus on getting WooCommerce set. So our initial color, that should be white. And hover color, we're going to make that a slight gray, and the active color will make that a slight gray as well. So I think that looks pretty chill. Let's hit publish. We've also got the idea spot title there. Let's go and grab that. And the site title font, we want that to be the white color as well. So I think we're looking pretty good now. The other thing I might do real quick while we're here is the footer. We've got a footer down there. Let's click the pencil and let's go general. And I just want to remove that bit of Kadence branding there. Let's just go copyright, year, and site title. So idea spot 2020, that seems good. Let's hit publish. Okay, one little detail, the icon. Let's change the icon while we're here. So let's go back to the logo. We can change the icon from here as well. Down there, you've got site icon, and we're going to change that. I want to use the blue logo we made earlier. Skip cropping. That looks pretty good. Let's just click publish. And now let's get onto some WooCommerce. So I want to put a cart icon up in that corner. So let's get onto that. So let's go header. And here we've got available items. Now, cart is in there because WooCommerce is installed and activated. So let me show you this for a second. So back in our plugins, you'll notice that WooCommerce is installed and active. I've also got the WooCommerce Stripe payment gateway installed and active. You can use this or you can use PayPal, I think. Those are the two best ones. But if you haven't set these up already, check out my previous video. I'll put the link in the description where I set up WooCommerce and Stripe Gateway and PayPal. It's basically going through the setup wizard. It's pretty easy, but that link is in the description. Let's get on to setting up our header with the cart. So back in the customizer, let's drag that cart into our primary navigation. We can put that anywhere we want in the header. I'd like to sit it right next to the menu there. So by default, it is black and it's got a little item counter there. Let's go ahead and click that pencil and see what we can do with it. We can have a bag or a cart. I like the cart. You can turn that item indicator on or off with that little button there. I actually like to turn it off, and the cart can be a traditional link to the cart, or you can actually have a pop-out cart here. So if you click the cart, it'll pop out. I'm kind of an old school guy. I like to have just a normal link, I think, simple to use. If you want to have a text label next to your cart, you can type one in, but it looks better just as an icon. I think everyone knows what that means. Let's go to the design. We want the cart colors and cart background to be what we want. So let's go with white, and the initial color should be white, and the next color, the hover color, can be that light gray. And the cart background, we would want these cart backgrounds just to be transparent. So I'm just going to drag the transparency right across and make sure that's transparent. So when we hover, we just get a little bit of a gray, and let's go ahead and click publish. Now, what's the other thing we need in our header? We want a link to the shop page. So let's head back to the actual menu. Got menus there. Let's go to the agency menu. Now that might be a different name depending on which starter template you're using, but whichever the main menu is, let's click that one. Let's add items and let's find the shop page and add that there. Now WooCommerce, after you've done the setup, it'll automatically give you a shop page. So that should be there. Go ahead and add that one. Let's click publish. And you can actually drag that to wherever you want that to appear. I'm pretty happy with it appearing right there next to the cart. I think that's pretty intuitive. And let's click the shop and see how it's looking at the moment. So by default, it's a bit gray. It's not much happening here. I have set up a couple test products. You'll need to set up a couple test products for your shop page to work properly. Let's go and have a look at that in some more detail. So in our dashboard under WooCommerce products, I do have a couple basic products I've set up. Let's edit those. Let's add some featured images, but you will need at least one or two products to get this tutorial going. So just fill it in, go ahead and let's set an image. Let's grab this one and let's click update. And for this one, the blogging course, let's set a product image like that one. There we go. And click update. So now back on our customizer, let's reload. we should at least get a couple of the featured images. There we are. So that looks okay. Let's figure out what to do with this title. So let's go to WooCommerce, and we're going to look at the product catalog and the design of that product catalog. So the title color, we want that to be white. I'd like the archive title background to match that gradient that we had before. So let's plug those codes for those two colors that we took from the blog page earlier. We'll just plug those in. There we go. And that one. There we go. Now that is looking a lot better. Now let's look at tweaking this layout a little bit. So let's head back to General. We can go through and change a few things here. So I like to use the standard container. They've got a few different containers. You can have different layouts here. This one looks better for this setup, obviously. Let's scroll down here. Now, the actual archive layout is important. You can have a more narrow layout. I think that is pretty cool. Standard one is pretty cool. I think the important thing to do is change this number of columns. So this is down here, products per row. We can bump that down to 2, given that we've only got the 2 products. And how many rows per page? We can have 4. I think 4 will be decent. Let's scroll back up and let's look at the narrow layout now. So I think that is pretty good. The other thing we can tweak are these guys at the top. So let's scroll down. You can show archive results count. You can turn that off if you don't want to say how many results there were. And we've got these things here. So we've got the drop down. You can turn that on or off. And the grid list toggle, you can turn those off. So I actually kind of like the drop down because there's a few useful features there. Popularity, price low to high. A lot of people use this, so I think that's pretty handy. The toggle, you can choose for yourself. I might just turn it off. It looks a bit cleaner with that off. And let's go ahead and publish. Now from here, the next thing we might look at is the actual product layout. So let's click a product. This is what they look like by default. Let's go back up to the top here and let's choose single product layout. Now this allows us to customize this layout. So we can see above the layout, we've got breadcrumbs. We can turn breadcrumbs off. I think it looks better with them off. The actual layout, we've got a few different layouts. We can change that to narrow or the default. We can have sidebars, etc. The content style, we can have a boxed style with a grayish box around the edge, or the default style. I think the box is kind of good. The next choice is for some vertical padding. You can enable or disable that. I think with enabled, it's a little bit nice having that white space. And what else have we got here? You can turn lots of different product elements on or off. The one thing I like to turn off is that product meta. See, it said category down there. I think it looks a bit nicer with that bit turned off. But otherwise, that looks pretty good. Next thing we've got is, we've got related products down the bottom there. We can turn that on or off. And if it's on, we can choose 2, 3, or 4 columns for related products. So I might just turn that off for this demo. Just keep it nice and simple. So I think this is a good, simple product page. One thing I will say is that not everyone likes that automatic zoom feature on the image. I'll show you how to turn that off. Let's go back to custom CSS. Now I have to make some custom CSS to actually stop that. So it's just basically WooCommerce div product div image, WooCommerce product gallery wrapper, pointer events none. So I'll share that in the description so you can put it in your custom CSS, but that will stop the mouse automatically zooming in. You can still click that and zoom in manually, but I think that's a little bit better in terms of what I like to do, but up to you if you want to do that or not. I'm just going to go ahead and click publish. So our shop and our product pages are looking pretty decent. One thing I will show you is by default, you've got this little bouncing button cart thing here. You can change that to something a little bit more traditional if you want to do that. Let's go back to customizer. And again, we've got WooCommerce, product catalog. We want to scroll right down to the bottom there. We've got the button action style. So by default, we've got a slide up. We can have always visible. That's got the add to cart sitting there. We can have text with an arrow or a button. So if you want something a little bit more traditional, a button that hovers like that, I think this is pretty decent. So let's go with that. But the default one looked pretty good too. So up to you which one you want. So now we're in our shop. Let's try adding one to the cart. Let's head to the cart. By default, the cart doesn't look too good. We've got a transparent header with no background behind it. It looks a bit messy. Let's click edit the page. Now the things I like to do to clean this up, I like to disable the transparent header and add some vertical padding. Click enable on that one. And I like to disable the footer on there actually as well. That makes it look really clean and tidy. If someone's in your cart, you don't want any distractions. So let's go back to our cart. Let's reload that. And this is what we've got now. So we've got our header, we've got our cart summary, and we can proceed to the checkout. So that's looking pretty good. Again, the checkout has exactly the same issue. So let's edit that page. And again, we want to disable the transparent header. We want to enable the vertical padding, and let's disable the footer again, and let's click update. And we can view that page. And there we go. That looks totally fine. So we're pretty much there. So now WooCommerce is pretty much fully functional. We've got our shop, our cart, our checkout. That's all going. The product pages look pretty good. What we can do is add products to any page. I'll show you how to do that with the WooCommerce blocks. Let's go back to our main page. Let's say we wanted to add a couple featured products there. We can click edit page. And now that we're editing this page, we can add products to this page. So let's go ahead and decide where we want to do this. Let's say under this one. So insert after. We can click add the block. Let's browse all the blocks. The block we want to start with is a row layout, and let's just do a single column in this row. And then we want to add our product block inside the row there. So we want to search for the WooCommerce blocks. So you can actually go type Woo in there. We've got, we can use featured categories, handpicked products, featured products. I like using handpicked products. So like if you search for handpicked products, this looks really quite good. We can choose exactly the products we want to display on the main page. I'm going to choose those two. We can click done, and there we go. So we actually have our products in there, and they're located inside of a column. We want to change the layout of this product layout a little bit first. So in our block settings, if you don't see your block settings, make sure that gear icon there is selected. We can change the number of columns. Let's drop that back to 2. And the pictures are a little bit too big for this layout. So let's adjust some margins here and make it look a little better. So from here, I'm going to go down and click the actual row layout, and I'm going to add some margin to the row layout. So this is why I chose row layout, because there are a few different styling options that you don't get on the actual product block. So by combining blocks, you get a few more ways of laying things out. So we can add padding and margin here. I'm going to add a percentage of margin. We can add it to the top, bottom, left, and right. I'm not going to do it on the top or the bottom, but I am going to do it on the left and right. So I might try 10 to start with. So I think that looks better. Maybe even 20. 20 is a bit too much. 15. 15 is pretty cool. I think that looks okay. So let's hit update. I think it might just need a little bit more white space at the top. Maybe I'm just being picky, but I think that's good. Let's click update. Let's go back to our main page and have a look how that looks now. So I think we're pretty good. You get the idea. You can add products to any page using that method. And we've also got our shop page set up as well. So you're pretty much good to go. You've got a complete WooCommerce set up now using a startup template that wasn't quite designed for WooCommerce in the first place. So there is one more little tweak I might go through. It is a very minor issue. It's the 404 and the search page. So if we went to idea class / blah, 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 and we hit the 404, we can see that the actual transparent header doesn't show up very clearly because it's white on white. Let's go ahead and fix that. And it's the same thing with the search. So let's go ahead and sort that out. So back on our customizer, let's go to header, transparent header, and we want to disable the transparent header on 404 search and archive pages, and we'll click publish. Let's go to look at our search results again. Let's reload those search results. There we go. We've got a working header on there. Now we do have a couple of archive pages. Archive pages are our blog and our shop page. So we can see that the header isn't the transparent header there anymore. We can actually enable the transparent header manually on those two pages. So let's go ahead and click edit page on the blog page. All we have to do here is go to our page settings, and we want to enable the transparent header. Click update. We can view our page. There we go. In terms of the shop page, we have to get there through our dashboard. And let's go to our pages, and we should find our shop page there. We can click edit. Same deal, go to the page settings, and we want to enable the transparent header. Click update, and we can view that one. So that's looking pretty good. Now there is one little bug I noticed. Even though the actual search page works fine, if we go to the 404 page, For some reason that still doesn't work, we can work around this just by putting a bit of color behind that header. I'll show you how to do that. Let's go to customize. What we want to do is just add some additional CSS to put some color behind that header. So in our CSS, I've just made up a bit of CSS to put the global palette 1 behind our header. Now, if you want to get real fancy, I'll show you how to put the gradient in there by CSS. But for this method, all we do is refer to global palette 1, position relative to make sure that everything slides down. But if we want to do the fancy way, let's paste that in here. I've got the gradient in there. You actually have to plug in the angle, the RGB values, and put that all in CSS. Now, I'll share how to do that in my description as well. Totally up to you. The single color works fine. I don't think many people go to the 404 page anyway. So if you're that fussy about your page, you can go ahead and do this, but totally up to you. So we're pretty much done. I'll show a couple more tricks if you're really, really fussy. I noticed that with these thumbnails, they are a little bit scaled and they've lost a little bit of quality. And these titles and prices, I might like them if they are lined up to the center. So I might show you how to do that real quick. So let's go customize again. Let's head back to our additional CSS. Let's scroll down and have a look here. I've made some CSS to center those up. So it's basically just the block grid product title, move that to the center, and the block grid product price, move that to the center. So I'll share that in the description as well. I'll go ahead and click publish. In terms of these thumbnails, let's just head over to, I think it's WooCommerce, and we've got product images. The thumbnail width is only 300 at the moment. We can bump that up to a bigger size depending on what size you're exactly using. In my case, it's 414. I'm going to hit publish there. So now when I look at the actual page and reload it, the quality of the image is just that little bit sharper. So attention to detail, guys. So like I said earlier, if you want some more tips on actually getting WooCommerce set up and working with credit cards and PayPal, check out my earlier video there. I also have another Kadence tutorial if you want more details on building pages with Kadence blocks. So check out that previous tutorial as well. But thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.